welcome to the best of everything. I am Ruben Paul, and across from me, you guys know him, my brother, my Portuguese brother. I'm sorry, my Portuguese brother.
Geese?
Yeah.
What are they? What are we flying?
Yeah, you're like
south
you're,
for the
you're,
winter.
you're like a little geese.
It's Portuguese.
I know, but
Well,
I
it's
said,
Portuguese, probably.
Okay.
Isn't it?
Well, you would know. You're Portuguese.
Epa!
Yeah.
Ah, Jesus.
I'm glad you're not pretending to be Mexican anymore.
So, que caray, huh?
All right.
You
You know, maybe this was a bad idea. Maybe it's a bad idea to bring it up because you use the same lines every week. That's all you know.
Yeah, that's
I'm sure. Doesn't he, Chris? It's like, yeah, but why are you giving Chris a dirty look?
Yeah,
because he agreed with me.
He just switches on us. It's
You
like
do
one
kind of
minute-
switch, man.
One week he's on my side, the next week he's on your side.
Yeah,
it's
man.
kind of weird.
Yeah,
huh?
it
You
is
notice
kind of
that?
weird, dude. Choose a side, man.
Yeah, choose a side,
We don't
dude.
like wafflers, man. Anyway, man, you don't even know who you are. He's been Mexican for. He thought he was Indian.
He thought he was Native American.
He thought he was Native American for most of your life, and you just found out a week ago that you're Mexican.
by the way,
and what's funny is he's more Mexican than you,
He's more Mexican
which is
than me.
hilarious.
He's 50%. By the way, he had to ask, for all you the Mexicans out there, he had to ask me what pocho meant. And he didn't even say it, pocho. He goes, "What's pocho? Is that what you wear when it's raining?"
Yeah,
No, that's a poncho.
but that's usually your accent, though.
What, which one?
Dude, pocho,
Pocho.
ACDC.
Icy dicey.
You're
By
such
the
a
way,
stone.
I found a song called Crab City in Blue. It was
Didn't
only
we talk
released-
about this last week?
No, not on. No.
Yeah, you brought it up last week.
Did I?
Yeah.
Not Crab City in Blue because
Remember
we
you
talked about
gave
AC/DC.
you gave the Krebs. Isn't that a AC/DC song that you found?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you said it was a funny line in there that you found in that song.
Oh, sideways walk.
I don't know. You were just
Did
saying.
we talk about it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought I found it after the podcast.
No, you
Oh,
were like,
okay.
dude, because you're saying how funny he is with
you're
his
right.
lines
Yeah,
or whatever.
He was so funny, man. Such a fun. By the way,
And how'd you find it?
Because
it wasn't on an album. It was just a loose single.
they released different singles and albums in Australia only during their
rise. Uh-huh.
Some stuff they didn't release out here. So like even that love song, their only ballad, because there's people who think that it's always funny to me when these AC/DC fans are like, yeah, you know why they're badass? Because they never did a ballad, dude. And they did, but they didn't release it out here until after he had passed. And it's called Love Song.
Okay.
It's about a girl that he dated named Jean. And basically the song's, oh, Jean.
Is that your impression?
It's kind of.
Okay.
By the way, if you guys listen to the song The Jack, okay, for those of you who aren't AC/DC fans. And it's a long song, but at the end of the song The Jack, that's exactly the response that Ruben gets with his stand-up comedy sets. So just listen to the song and then listen to the end of The Jack.
I don't think anybody's gonna rush out and listen to the Jack.
I know, they're probably not.
Yeah, they're
But
not gonna
anyway,
rush
but hey, can we find that and just go to like the last 15 seconds of The Jack?
Yeah, go to the last 15 seconds, Chris.
Yeah, it's a real long song.
Yeah.
But that's another great song.
So we can tag his bit.
You know why it's such a great song? Because it's a long song, but he has a lot of under the breath things. Oh, it's a bad deal.
Yeah.
Oh, she's been shuffled before.
Uh,
Here we go.
Jack, she's got the Jack.
Wait, that's not.
Thank you, people. Thanks for listening.
No,
Goodbye.
that's impersonator. That's not Bon Scott. I could tell. That's how good. That's how much I know Bon Scott. That's
damn, Chris, you couldn't even get an authentic
Yeah,
version.
just do.
That's why I typed in AC/DC The Jack.
Yeah, no, just do like official or something, or original version or something, or
that means we have to hear that again.
No, but you got to hear the. All right.
All
We'll
right.
move
No,
on
no,
until-
no. We have to finish this now.
But isn't that funny? I knew immediately it was not Bon Scott. The
Yeah.
other people would be like, "Oh, that." I
I'm
think
impressed
was
that
him.
you remember that because I mean you're so high during those days and on drugs that you.
No, actually, I wasn't. You found it?
I think it's a live version though.
No. All right. We'll figure it out.
Damn,
I'll
Chris,
find it and send it to you.
You got one job, man. So
Yeah.
where'd you find it? How did you find it? How did you come across it?
You mean the song "The Jack"?
Yeah.
I've been listening to it for years.
Oh, this is not one of those songs.
Oh
that
no,
was
no,
just-
no! This one was released.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
I just wanted you to hear the ending.
Now, is this one of your like? When you buy an AC/DC album, do you listen to it from beginning to end, or like, do you like every song, or is it just like normal albums? Because you just seem like you're really like passionate about it, and I think of some of the artists that I grew up listening to. I'd listen to their whole album, and people would only like the 3 singles
I
that
see what you're
everybody.
saying. Oh no, man! The jams were the non-popular. You know how that
exactly.
goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. But
So you'd listen to it. So out of all their albums, do you feel like you can listen to all of their albums from track 1 to the final track?
Yeah, they got some weak songs in on some of their.
Of course,
yeah.
of course.
There's some of the ones where you kind of go, oh, this one's
Like when you listen to like Michael Jackson's Thriller. Like you can listen to that song from beginning to end. Now, obviously you have the mega hits and everything, but the whole album, you could just put it on and let it play.
all the way, without a doubt.
Yeah, and I think with a lot of artists, you have that one song and then everything else like,
I almost feel like it seems like that more now than it did before. Or was it like that back then too? Yeah, I guess it was.
Well,
Yeah,
you got to
yeah.
understand, I think we're in a la carte age now.
Because
Where
people
you
just
don't
get the song.
Yeah, you don't even have to buy an album anymore. You just buy the songs that you like, so you don't have to sit through the mediocre
You know what's
songs, the
funny?
song that you might not like now. It's so much simpler.
Yeah.
Imagine, especially if you're listening to a tape in your car. It's like you got to hold fast forward, back in the day to get to the next song. I mean, when CDs came out, people were like, "Thank God,
yeah.
I could just skip right to that."
over.
Yeah.
Because you know what's interesting? I really like what's her name, Dua Lipa, that singer Dua Lipa from. You never seen? Oh my God, she's absolutely gorgeous. I can't even believe you. On top of how good I love her voice, but I'll be honest, I have not listened to an album. I listened to her songs.
Dua Lipa.
The DUA, and then last name is LIPA. I can't believe you don't know her. I mean, she wins all kinds. She gets nominated for Grammys and American Music Awards and everything, man. She's even won some. Dua Lipa, you haven't heard any of? I mean, I don't know her songs by heart or anything like that.
I'm
but-
sure if I heard the song or if I saw her, I might know who she is, but I just don't. I'm not familiar with the name.
Okay, let me show you. She's on. I follow her on Instagram.
Okay, is this the song?
Yeah, this is one of her songs. She got a great voice, man.
Wait, do we have to clear this to play this?
Talking in my sleep at night, make
Not if I don't have to stop it right there.
Oh, she's cute.
Yeah, you don't know Dua?
No, I don't know her.
Yeah, it can't go more than 8 seconds.
But yeah,
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
but you couldn't find the Jack song.
I couldn't find that one.
Okay, no worries. We'll
Oh, maybe.
Oh, here I'll just go straight on my Apple.
Oh, it is available, but I don't know why I can't find the original version without being live.
That's weird. Shouldn't be like that. Yeah, the Jack, 1975, high voltage. All right, hold on. Let me move forward.
Just put it near the mic.
Yeah, hold on. Okay, this is how all of Ruben's sets end, everybody.
I hope this is worth the wait.
I should have put it louder.
Yeah,
That's as
that
loud as it goes.
would have been funny 10 minutes ago.
What's even more than.
But you know,
But isn't that great, dude? That they recorded it like that. So
I know,
The
it's
crowd's
cool.
like boo.
it seems like older artists used to do a lot of theatrical stuff. That's one thing that I
Fun.
like skits and just fun
Yeah.
stuff. That's
Yeah.
one thing that I loved about some of the hip hop albums that have sketches in between songs and everything,
great, man.
which was dope. Biggie did that on some albums. A lot of artists did that. It's
Who's-
just always
I think, Incubus. Was it Incubus or there was that band that did a cross between rock and rap. Not Incubus. Maybe it wasn't Incubus. Dang it! But they literally did sketches in between on their albums. God, I wish I could remember. Who?
Was it Rage?
Not Rage.
Okay, because it didn't seem like they'd be.
No. God, man, it's gonna drive me crazy.
We'll think of it, but the end of that song reminds me of somebody asked me the other day. It was like, "What's the worst gig that you've ever done?"
I'm gonna bring one up that you told me about, by the way. But you go
Which-
ahead. No, you go
All right,
first.
I mean, there's so many. Like
I
when
know.
you perform as much as we perform, and for the amount of years we perform, there's always gigs, and what people don't understand is a gig can be absolutely awful, and you still quote unquote do well.
Right.
Like it
You
has
get through it.
Yeah, you get through it
Yeah.
and everything, but you just go, I'm never ever coming back here again, or I'm never doing this gig
It's
again.
kind of, yeah.
And the gigs aren't always bad because you bombed, even though I've had gigs like that too, where you just you're out there and it's like they absolutely hate you, and it's always funny to me, especially when it happens to a good comic. Like the comic is good,
Yeah.
and then you're seeing them just eat it. I mean, there's something very funny about that because they're not gonna let it ruin their day or, take it that hard. That's what's funny about young comics. Young comics have a bad set and they feel like they're going to go home and kill themselves just because it's one bad set. Like, dude, how long do you plan on being in this industry?
Yeah.
Because everybody's not going to like you. And when you operate from that premise, knowing that, then it is what it is. You just go out there and do the best that you can and whatever's going to happen. But I did a horrible gig last week for a friend. He called me to do a bar gig, and I thought about you when I walked in, and I told
Why?
I told Francisco Ramos this. I said I walked in. Shout out Francisco Ramos.
Whisper out to Francisco.
He's really
Well, he does have an accent.
well. I said now that you're not Mexican, when you do that accent,
Oh, you better
it's really
stop.
offensive, man.
30%, 30 Sanchez.
Hey, man, but you're not
30.
the majority, so you can't attack.
30
Your Portuguese side can't attack.
No, I love Francisco Framos.
So we go to this gig, and as soon as I walk in, I knew it was going to be a disaster. As soon as I walked in, I was
Why?
like, oh, it was a bar.
yeah.
Nobody knew that it was a comedy show. The sound was awful. People were, it was loud, dude.
Okay.
It was so loud
And
in
what
there.
city was this in?
It was in downtown LA.
Oh,
At a bar in downtown LA. The stage was makeshift.
yeah.
And
Like by
I
what,
walked
4 by
as soon as
2
I
or
walked in, when I was walking in, the dude asked me for ID, and I was like, "Hey, I'm a comic," and he's like, "I'm still gonna need to see some ID," and I was like, "All right, okay, it's one of these gigs." So I go in.
He still needs to see.
So I go in, dude,
Oh.
and I just see the layout of the room. It's narrow and long, and
You
the
already
stage is next to the entrance. So when you're on stage, people are walking by you to get in. And I looked at Francisco and go, wow, man, if he wasn't my boy, I would leave. Because there's some gigs now at this point in our career, you're like, you know what, dude? Keep your money. I'm cool.
Yeah.
I don't need the $200.
Yeah.
I'm good. But I didn't want to do that to him.
Right.
And I'm way more of a trooper than you are. Like I'll do some bullshit. Like I will. You won't.
Excuse me, I'll do it.
No, you won't. Johnny has a number one rule. I respect the dude. Like
Yeah.
I'm not giving you shit about it. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I wish I was more like you in situations like that. Like you'd have walked in and you'd have went, sorry, dude.
Well-
I'm not going to do this. I'll make it up to you.
I would have either done that
Yeah.
or I would have gotten the information ahead of time.
Well,
You know
one
how
thing
I
that you
am.
told me a
Yeah.
long time ago is like, Ruben, I never like to do the first show of anything.
Anybody's first show.
And because I remember when I used to do a show at the Mint back in the day, and I wanted you to do it, which ended up being a great gig.
No, that was. But you knew how to. You knew how to. Do
Yeah, I know how to
yeah.
set it up. And this and
But
my
I said
friend,
no. I said no on the first one.
yeah, he like, I want to come watch. I'm like, you pussy, just fucking come do the show, dude.
By the way, when somebody asks me to do their room, I go.
you always want to go watch.
I go, what night is it? And then they go this night. I go, you know what? I'll come check it out first. I'll come check it out
I
first.
hate when you do that, man.
No, but
you're mad. Just show up and do the damn gig,
get
man.
Get this. If you had shown up to check it out first on his opening night, you would have probably been like, yo, dude, you got to change some things, man, for me to come.
He kind of warned me. He knew it wasn't, but he didn't know it was going to be as bad. And I remember telling
anyway, I want to hear this, so I'm sorry.
I remember I told
interrupting
Francisco, I said, you know what, dude? I said, Johnny Sanchez would walk in here and go, sorry, dude. Like, hey, man, I know I said I'd do this gig. Keep the money. You don't have to pay me.
That's true.
You don't have to pay me. I
need
can't
my
do this,
dignity.
dude. I can't do this. Not with my style. I mean,
Oh, that's
dude,
right.
the lighting
Sorry.
was
Oh.
awful.
No room on stage?
No, the stage.
I couldn't pace?
The stage was smaller than this table.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm out. I'm
And-
out.
And it was just, and I looked at him, and he was like, "I know, man." And I said, "Dude, I know it's not your fault because some promoters don't listen, and people think you could do comedy everywhere.
Yeah.
And you can't. There's just certain places that aren't conducive for comedy. And this isn't coming. Let me make this crystal clear. And Johnny, you can back me up on this. When it comes to the type of rooms that I'm not some bougie, like I'll only do certain type of rooms. You know, I'll do pretty much almost anything.
Yeah.
You know, which sometimes I wish I wouldn't because I'm driving home and I'll like call Johnny like, how's the gig, man? Like, oh, I feel horrible, man.
Right.
Like I feel like a sellout for doing this. Like I didn't need the money that bad to go through that, you know? So, man, it's just so loud in that place, man. And my whole thing is there's a couple of simple things they could have done. They could have, number one, at the door when they're letting people in, they're checking ideas, go, hey guys, it's a comedy show tonight. I know this is, you know, I know you probably weren't expecting, but we're having a comedy show tonight. It's going to be going on for about 2 hours. If you come in, we're going to need you to hold it down or just come back in 2 hours. And so when at least people are walking in knowing it's a comedy show instead of people turning around going, what is that guy doing on stage? Like people, it was weird. It's just like back in the day doing comedy at restaurants during business hours and people are eating at the table and then somebody just hops on stage with the microphone like, yo, dude, I just came for the enchiladas. Like what is going on here? So,
and some peace and quiet.
and some peace
for
and
my
quiet, dude.
dinner.
And then a comedy show breaks out and they don't tell you about it. Like to me, I don't know. People don't even think of things like that. But I just think if they would have started off by letting everybody in the bar know before you come in, there's going to be a comedy show. You're welcome to stay. There's no cover. But if you come in, it's a comedy show and we're going to need you to pay attention. Yeah. So they didn't do that. And it was loud, man. And it was
So I'm
rough.
did anybody introduce the host? Or did he just walk up on stage?
Yeah, he had to walk up on stage and introduce himself. And it was to the point, and he did a fantastic job. He ended up like walking. He had a cordless mic. He had to walk the room like from the stage. He went all the way to the back of the room where from the front, you can't even see him. That's how long the room was. And he's talking to people, trying to get them to be quiet. So right there, you know, it's a disaster when the MC is walking around in the audience at a bar and everybody's like looking like, what the hell is going on here? And I had to close the show. And I remember Francisco looked at me, he's like, I have no idea what I'm going to do because it's almost impossible to do comedy
When they're not
paying attention, you know? And I'm not going
so
to,
hard,
you know,
man.
and I'm not going to go up there and play music and do sing-alongs and do all that stuff to, you know, get the crowd engaged. It's like, it's not that serious to me. I'm there to do comedy. I'm not there to do karaoke.
And just so everybody knows, how many comics on the lineup and how much time is everybody supposed to do?
There was...
Just so everybody gets an idea how long Ruben was going to have to wait.
There was 4 comics
Before you or all together?
before me.
Including the MC? Or
Yeah, so yeah, MC, then the first guy. Then it was 4. Yeah, four including the MC.
Okay, so and they're all doing what? Everybody's supposed to do what? 20? Oh, they probably weren't doing the full time.
Yeah, no one was. It was one of those things where it's like, hey, do what you can.
Just do what you can. Yeah.
And I ended up staying up there for 30. And the reason why I stayed up that long was it was so awful that I ended up talking about how awful it was and ended up like getting laughs
people's
and stuff.
attention. And,
yeah, but it was still, no materials working. But that's one thing. It's like you start getting them laughing like, time to sneak in some material. And then it just goes silent again.
So what did
damn, I should have just stayed in the room.
Did the other comics do what he did and walk off stage and talk, or they all stayed?
One other comic did.
And how did that go?
I didn't go well.
Yeah.
And he had music cues and everything.
And then how did the I just love gigs.
Oh man.
Especially when I'm not in it. So how did and then Francisco did he just stuck with
Francisco went up and he was a
material.
trooper. He stayed up the whole time. And then San Francisco. I was just about to call him San Francisco.
I do like San Francisco Ramos.
San Francisco Ramos.
Oh, I love it.
But he went on and when he got off, I go, damn, dude, you did your time. He goes, you know what, Ruben? After 10 minutes, you just go into, I don't give a fuck. And you just start.
Okay. Oh, he has an accent?
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thought it wasn't allowed to do his accent, but that's okay.
Well, I didn't do it like you. You made him sound like a cholo. He's refined
Cholo,
and dignified.
no,
he sounds like Ricardo Montalban. That's how.
No, he doesn't. He sounds like a male Sophia Viagra. That's who he sounds like.
Jesus.
Okay? He sounds just like
did
a
you
male
did you write
Sophia
that?
Viagra.
Did you write that?
Well, she is pretty much Viagra.
yeah, she is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, he doesn't sound like Ricky Ricardo. I mean, Ricardo Montalban. He sounds more like Ricky Ricardo.
Yeah, a little Ricky Ricardo.
Ricky Ricardo. Ricardo Montalban, dude. That's refined.
He sounds
No, he's just like, hey, what the hell is going on?
Oh, really?
Yeah, he does. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Are
Dude.
you two married here? How long are you engaged?
No, he doesn't.
When are you
say-
guys getting engaged? See, there's not surprises no more engaging.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway.
Guys, Google him. Listen, and then is he Ricardo Montalban or is he Ricky Ricardo?
Well, we always said if they did a I
Yeah.
Love Lucy remake, he should play Ricky Ricardo. I'm just,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Anyway. go
Anyway.
ahead. Sorry.
Jesus, you just like to start shit, right?
No, you started with me though about doing
All
an
right.
accent. So I'm just
saying,
I'm right here.
all right. I'm just saying, he said after 5 minutes, he just didn't care
put
anymore.
autopilot.
Yeah, you just go on autopilot. You don't care anymore, and that's how you get through that gigs. But it was awful.
then
But
you
I
ended-
will say this
yeah.
though: when you do those gigs, and you feeling like it wasn't worth the money, the next morning, you gotta go. Well, at least I did get paid for this. So you got paid. So it is what it is.
Man, those gigs are, and it's interesting that it's some people who, and no knock to anybody here, but a lot of times I feel like some comics get a room and they're just, I don't know if they're just so excited that they actually have a room that that they don't want to push the details on the club owner or the promoter, but you know what I mean? Like, man, the lighting, the sound, we got to tell everybody.
I know in this
don't know.
situation, Johnny, he absolutely understands how comedy should be ran. And sometimes there's only so much you could explain. And some promoters need to see the plane crash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or the car crash. Whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
just see the wreck.
they need to see the wreck. And then they go, oh, I get what you're
wreckage,
saying.
yeah.
Because you try to explain to them, like, this is important and this is important. But they don't know. They don't know anything about comedy. So they set up this whole environment that's not conducive for comedy. But yet they want to
the
do
main word, man.
Yeah.
It's like, is it conducive for comedy? Like,
will people be able to pay attention?
and see and hear and
It's important, especially for different styles of comedy.
You know what it is too, man? There are a lot of comics out there who are always just like, "Shh, man, just hand me a mic. I don't care where it is. I can hand me a mic in the middle of a grape field. I'll do comedy in the grapes."
And I will say that when I first started, I had a little bit of that in me. You know what I mean?
not
and that's
me.
why. And that's why with you, I just always found it fascinating that you would turn down these gigs? Because I was just not that you weren't, I was just such in hustle mode. Somebody gonna get it. You're like, Rube, you got to stop doing those gigs, man. I
But
go,
you know what's?
right.
I think it's because I did so many of those awful ones that I reached a point. You know, those first 8, 9 years, that's when you do them. Those first,
Yeah.
And I remember, maybe after probably year 10 or something, I was just kind of like, man, can't do these anymore. Like, it's soul crushing, man. It takes.
It does take a lot out of you.
It takes so much out of you because then you drive home, and you're just kind of going, wait, was I there? Especially if the money's not great. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was doing a club in El Paso. I'm not going to mention a club because I don't want to plug it. And it was during like the December. So you know when the bookers go, hey, I got a corporate gig for you if you want. You know how that goes? And you look back going, I didn't get that much extra money. But when you're new, I hadn't been headlining very long. So he's like, hey man, you want to do a corporate gig for some extra bones? And I'm like, yeah, okay. So he's like, it's for this like, one of those 30-minute oil and lube kind of places. And here, let's read it.
No, go ahead.
Ruben just like checked out.
I'm sorry.
No, that's right. That's right. He's checking his text messages. I got to turn my phone down anyway, so I don't see it. Anyway, so I get there. It's like a whatever 10-minute oil, one of those places, like a Jiffy Lube, but it's its own little place, and it's there at the place in the garage. There's actually a few cars that are lifted all the way up to as high as they can go, so they're out of the way. And there's a band playing. And I'm like, no stage, just grease and dirt. And I go, where am I? And they're like, oh, you're going to go up when these guys quit playing. Then you just go up there and grab their mic and do your stand up. I'm like,
so disrespectful.
And on top of it, I met a girl that week. So she came with me. She drove me because she lived there. So I had gotten there on Wednesday and I was doing this gig like Saturday afternoon or whatever, their Christmas party, the company Christmas party. And I brought her. So, yeah. So then the band stops and they're like, and some dude goes, oh, hey, you guys ready for some comedy? You guys ready for some laugh? And it's just a bunch. It's a mixture of rednecks and like cholos. Texas cholos, if you will, sort of. You know what I mean? Like more, kind of hardcore Mexican. You know what I mean? Like that vibe. It's just the two of that combo. And I go up there and I'm trying to do my stand up, and I mean it's just not going well, dude. And they're just not connecting. And then one redneck was like, he's like, "Hey man, why don't you tell something funny?" Do something funny. And I was like, oh, really, dude? And then they're like, come on, Jerry. And then whatever his name, and then Clyde or something like that. And then he goes, I didn't know what to do because I was
there to watch this.
I had not been in comedy but maybe 6-7 years, right? So I wasn't even that seasoned to be really handling it. And then, of course, I'm like, oh, yeah, like you can do better, huh? Whatever. He's all, damn right I can. And he turns around. He pulls his pants down. He spreads his cheeks.
Oh, my God.
And he farts. And I literally see his butthole open and close.
Are you kidding me?
100 truth.
I might have wanted to beat
They all just like first of all, there's not even any chairs.
That's
Everybody's just
humiliating.
standing.
That is humiliating.
And they all just like, no, Clyde, whatever his name was.
Oh my!
And he's all, gee, and he pulled his pants back. Told you I'm funny, dude. I had to finish my set.
What?
I mean,
show over.
Yeah, I was just
that.
like, oh my God, did you guys see that? Whatever. And they're like, well, what you gonna do? So I tried to finish my set. This girl's with me.
Oh
She's watching me at the club all week going, wow, this dude's a headliner. He's got some shit going on. And then I bring her to this gig.
Dude, there's nothing funnier than watching a comic bomb in front of a new girl he's bringing around. Because you bring them there to impress them.
Yeah. That's
and then
the
when
reason
you
why
catch that brick, man.
Yeah, dude.
Damn, dude, he pulled.
Surprisingly, she still came out to LA to visit me later on, months later. That's surprising.
Well, because I think there's a certain level of respect. Because some people realize how hard it is to do comedy. Like comedy is. Here's the thing,
dude farted.
Dude, comedy is hard in a controlled environment.
Butthole opened and closed.
Dude, I might have wanted to fight.
I mean, I wanted to.
Yeah,
but
that shit,
what am I going to do?
That's so disrespectful,
I'm gonna get,
dude.
You know, I'm going to get jumped. I can't fight the coworker.
Oh, dude.
I'm outnumbered.
And you looked, the moment he would have pulled his pants down, I would have looked away, dude.
Yeah,
you probably were in
so. I just like as I'm standing in grease, got grease on my feet.
Yo, you know what other story that I like? When Jamie had you, I ended up passing on I ended up not so he had called a couple
not
of us.
Not the Santa Anita racetrack one.
The racetrack one that I ended up thanking God that I couldn't do it.
Oh, he asked you first.
Yeah.
Jamie.
Please tell us that story, dude. This is hilarious.
So Jamie gives me a call.
First of all, let me
Jamie
just say
Masada,
this. Yeah. When Johnny has a bad set,
it's ultra bad.
He gets pissed.
Yeah. I fall apart.
Yeah.
I fall apart. And that's why I don't do gigs like that.
I know, dude. But what is it? Like
it's just... I feel
I can dust it off. Dude, I've been humiliated.
I feel like a fool when they're going really bad. When it's something that I'm like, why am I doing this?
Yeah, I think that sometimes on stage, but I'm
just humiliated. I can't. There's something about that.
Because I already noticed that about you get really pissed.
Yes.
So that's why you probably came to the point where if it's not conducive to the way that I want to do it, I'd rather not doing it because I don't like this feeling.
Yeah, man. And it tears me up so much that I just... it'll linger.
I get it. I respect that.
Like you woke up the next day going, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
I got some extra cash. I would have woke up going, fuck this fucking money, man.
Yeah, I got
And then I would have thought about it for a week, dude. I'd have beat myself up for a week.
Yeah.
It just lingers with me. I can't get that off of me. So Jamie Masada called you. Obviously, he called me going, buddy, we have special show for the hard workers down at Santa Anita racetrack, buddy. These people work so hard.
This was
buddy.
next to Hollywood Park, right? No, this was
Santa
the one
Anita. The one where all the horses are dying right now. You know?
Oh wow, yeah.
30 horses since late December.
Wow. That's right. It was.
Yeah, man, it's kind of crazy what's going on. But anyway, it was for the people that work there. Mm-hmm. They were going to thank all the. So my first immediate response is, you mean probably like the Mexicans or Latinos that work there? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but great hardworking PayPal. Yeah. They so hard work. They deserve laugh. And I go,
they deserve. Yeah,
they deserve, buddy. Yeah. And I said, wait a minute, Jamie, do they speak English? Because that's my first thought. Like, are they immigrants or are they?
You know, my first question was to him.
What?
Is this outdoors? And he goes, yes. Is it? And I go, I can't do it.
Okay. My first one was, do they speak English? Then I was, is this indoor or outdoor?
Okay.
And that's when he said outdoor. I go, Jamie, you know that doesn't. But remember, this was no pay.
Yeah.
This was to just do a favor. Yeah. And he's like, buddy, please, you drive, not even gas money, but you drive out for these poor people who work hard. And I go, okay, fine. I go, all right, Jamie, if they speak English, I can do it. Yeah, buddy, of course. I get there. I pull up. It's daytime. It's a Sunday, I think. And I'm walking up, and then a couple of clues hit me. As I'm walking up, first of all, I hear Spanish music in the distance. Then I start.
And this is when Johnny was Mexican, by the way. So go ahead.
And then I start noticing the vehicles, trucks with stickers of bulls on the door, on the back window, stickers on the bumper stickers, Michoacan, Zacatecas, Sonora. Okay. And I'm like, so I'm almost to where I need to be, where the people are, they're all around and they're all eating.
But how many people were there?
About 150.
Oh, okay. I thought it was bigger than that. Okay.
200 maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a big gathering, and there's like a patio thing in the middle where everybody's supposed to be sitting around, but everybody's spread out, having their plate of food, and you could smell them. And right when I saw that, because then, as I noticed, most of them were wearing cowboy hats, cowboy boots,
Oh.
and Western shirts.
You're a perfect demo.
Okay, right. So I immediately go, ay, ay, ay. I literally said that. I go, oh shit, I'm getting out of here. I was about to leave and just tell Jamie that I couldn't find it. I got lost.
How could you not find Santa Anita?
This is before GP. This is before all that. But I could have easily said, Jamie, I don't even know where. I can't find it. I mean,
Yeah.
I could have just said I got on the wrong freeway. I made a mistake.
Uh-huh.
I'm about to turn around, Rube, when I hear Johnny. It was the chaplain who was putting it together. He's the one who called Jamie. Jamie knew the chaplain. And I'm
Jesus led me to you, Johnny.
so I'm like, huh? And he's like, Johnny, hey, I'm Chaplain so-and-so. Hey, thank you for doing it, white guy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I go,
God bless you,
oh
Johnny.
my God, dude. So the interesting thing was that you want something to eat and I go, yeah, what's happening here with this? Like, where are we doing? I mean, everybody's sitting around. He goes, no, don't worry. We're going to bring them all in. And then you'll be right there see where the middle part of under the patio. And I go, okay. So then the jockeys were cooking, which was the interesting part. The jockeys were the ones doing the cooking.
They were on the grill.
They were on the grill, and I guess finally giving these guys a break. They didn't have to do anything. So he introduced me to this one dude and this jockey, and he's like, hey, what's up, man? I go, hey, yeah, this is. He goes, hey, man, I know you, dude. I've seen you on some stuff. Oh, thanks, dude. Yeah, whatever. And he goes, hey, I go, hey man, do they speak English? And he's like, for the most part, no. And I go, what? And then before I could just pull the chaplain aside, next thing I know, hey, everybody, vámonos, whatever. Then he starts speaking.
Oh my God.
And he's bringing everybody in.
And Johnny doesn't speak Spanish.
I'm not fluent. And I'm like, oh my God. And the jockey's like, just go up there and just do your thing, dude. Who cares? So he introduces me, blank faces. I walk up. I start trying to do my set, dude. I'm supposed to do 20, by the way.
Uh-huh.
And they're just staring at me. Nothing. They don't understand a word I'm saying. And then at one point, I said something to the effect of like, I was doing a bit that I used to do where the Mexican was like, you Mexicano? It was like a bit I used to do. And when I said, yeah, Mexicano, they went, hey! And they all started clapping. They didn't know what I said. They just heard Mexicano. So at this point,
How much time did you end up doing?
10. I stayed up there for 10 minutes without anybody. Now, here's the crazy thing. The jockeys over there in the grill, laughing their asses off at my material. They got everything I was talking about, right?
Yeah.
These guys, nothing. So finally, at 10, man, I went, I mean, I can't go any. Granted, I probably crammed 20 minutes into 10. You know, when it's just like, and because I'm getting nothing, Ruben, but stares.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm like, I'm done. That's my, and as I walk, everybody, as I'm walking off the stage, this little Mexican man, older Mexican man, I think he was helping with the cooking. He had an apron on and it was all dirty and everything. And he kind of even bumps me, almost sort of shoves me out of his way as he's making a beeline for the microphone.
Uh-huh.
And he grabs the mic. And as I'm still walking through people, he starts telling a joke in Spanish. And they erupt in laughter.
He's murdering.
And this dude proceeds to murder it for the next couple of minutes as I'm walking through everybody. They're on the floor. And I get back there to the jockey and I go, oh my God, I thank you for laughing. And he goes, you're hilarious. They just don't know what you're talking about. Thanks, Jamie. That was a free gig, man. So I see Jamie the next time. I'm like, Jamie, they didn't speak any English. I asked you, buddy, you did great thing, buddy. You gave back to community, buddy.
The reason why I find this so funny is I just know you so well. and I know how hard you take it when you don't have a good set. Dude, I had Johnny guest host at Ruby Tuesdays, and everyone said Johnny did great. Johnny thought he didn't do great. It took me 2 months to get him back on the show. I'm like, dude, hey man, I don't know, Rube. I'm like, dude, you're Johnny Sanchez, dude. You're funny. Even if you did have a bad set, it's like, come on, dude. Like that doesn't define you. That's what I tell good comics. A bad set doesn't define you. Just like a good set, one good set doesn't mean you're brilliant.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? A lot of comics, they have a good set, and then you're
puffing up the chest.
Yeah, it's like, dude, it's one set, dude. Every set is different, dude.
No, it's like a
of course, I'm not saying this to you. I'm just
no.
saying,
Yeah. It's so people understand. We have never had the same show twice. Even if the material we've repeated every set I've always said is
that's
it's
what's so dope about comedy, man.
It's a snowflake, man.
Yeah.
Or how about? Don't you hate it though when this happened when I was at Stir Crazy in Arizona? We had a phenomenal crowd on the first show Friday night. And I remember telling when you have that set and then you go,
it's all downhill from here.
Yeah, I literally told the feature, I go, can we just not do this next show?
Yeah.
Because but the weird thing is also, I'm sure this has happened to you, kind of like, everything went so well that you almost try to recreate it on the next show.
Oh, of course that happens.
You're like, you know what? I'll just go in this order again.
But you can't, man. It
it's
never
a
works.
Different crowd. They were still great. They were smaller, but that first crowd, Rube, on Friday night, I will say this much, man. Second show Saturday was one of the hottest crowds I performed in front of in a long.
That's dope.
You know when
Long Beach Laugh Factory was on fire Saturday early show. When did it?
That's first show, dude.
Yeah, but this one was, and usually, I guess. See, there's so many facets that can affect a set.
Yeah.
That have nothing to do with actual comedy, and I don't know if they dropped the checks on time or just the timing was perfect.
Everything
where
was just right.
Yeah, because usually when you close the show there, you got to deal with the check drops, and then people lose their attention for a little while. But there was no moments of attention lost. It was just all the way through. And you reminded me of that just when you talk about Stir Crazy, that they don't do check drops.
No check drops there,
which is awesome, man.
And other club owners, bookers, that figure out how he does it, contact Tom Sims, because the only people that get a check are the people paying cash. And that's very minimal,
But it's
man.
it's a smaller room, though. I'm sure that has a lot to do with it,
seats,
too.
I think 110.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
tight
so
room.
that's probably easier to
Yeah.
do that. When you're doing some of these rooms and it's 300, 350, that
that's
might
true.
be a tough thing to do, especially when you have to turn shows over. But it's just funny, you being a veteran, and even to this day that affects you. I just, how I started out, man. It's like I started off, doing black rooms when I first started, and every night was a battle, except the Comedy Act Theater was, because when you first start, that's what you do is bar shows. And then the Comedy Act Theater was like a real
bar showing it for years. Yeah.
Like it was like a real dope comedy show, but you can catch a break in there too. Just because of the level. Like there was so many great comics that went up that you had to rise to the level.
Yeah.
Or you'd get, you drown because they were just so, there was just a level of expectation.
Sure.
That's why, sometimes a comic will get false confidence when they kill on a show full of terrible comics. Right. And then you put them on a show with a lot of good comics, then it challenges you.
Or sometimes, as we know, some of them always have the early spot.
Oh man!
And then then their ego gets
puff their
blown.
chest out.
They puff
on
their
the
chest
early
out because
spot,
they're constantly killing, because they're going up first, second, or third.
Yeah.
They're not going up fifth or sixth when the crowd's tired, or on the late show, and you just kind of go, why doesn't? And I've said this before to Jamie, as a matter of fact. Jamie, you put us through the ringer. You said putting us late would make us stronger. I go, but you're not doing this for the next generation. They can't handle it, buddy. They don't have talent as you, as guys like you, Ruben. They don't. I go, no, they'll get the talent if you make them go on late.
I used to hate
that midnight show.
Dude, and I've said this before on the podcast.
Or closing the 10 sometimes,
dude.
man. Sometimes closing the 10 is work.
And there's a part of you that it's an honor for him to want you to close the show and everything. But after a while, and I think it was either you or Tony Rock told him, was like, yo, why do you always got to put Ruben dead last? Because the hard part is you get to the club and the club is packed for the 10 o'clock show. And then there's just so much energy in the room. And then, when you're a comic, you feel that energy in the room. It's like, I can't wait to get on. So it goes from literally almost 300 people in a room to 12 by the time I get on.
How about when you start seeing everybody walk
dude,
out?
When you start seeing everybody
it's
leave,
so deflating, man. It's like, what?
But after a while, I had to make a choice because it got to the point where I had to go to gratitude. And that's what I try to do when I get frustrated. And me and you had a conversation before you came on air where you get frustrated. I just have to like zero it down and go, all right, I'm getting spots at the world famous Laugh Factory.
We're on Sunset Strip.
On the Sunset Strip.
Yeah.
A lot of comics would love to have this spot, to have the opportunity. So even though in my mind I might feel sorry for myself and think it's not fair, what can I do with this spot? And it did make me better because my whole thing is like, all right, this is where I really try and work out material. If I can make them laugh at 2 o'clock in the morning, then when I finally do get the 8 o'clock spots or the 10 o'clock shows, then when the energy and everybody's awake in that party mood, that if it's killing at 2 o'clock in the morning, it's going to destroy at 10 o'clock, or at 8 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. And then you get an early, but the point being is, it becomes this thing where it's like, we've had to talk to people like, hey man, I'm tired of going last. Yeah. But you're strong. But you guys, you're strong. You hear the same thing. Well, you're strong. I don't want to put you, well, too bad. Somebody has to put me up first, and that comic just has to grow. It's the bottom line, and they'll figure out how to go on after me eventually. But at least rotate us.
What's interesting? Shout out to Michael Williams, owner and founder of the Comedy Act Theater, which was instrumental in me me doing comedy. Is he put all the new comics on last?
Wow.
If you wanted to,
that's interesting.
Or did he just do that to me? I'm just starting to think about it because he would have the amateur show before the main show. But once you got off the amateur show, I know for me, I don't know if he did this for everybody, but I used to host the amateur show. And then when I graduated from the amateur show, I used to be the first comic on the main show.
Okay.
And that was, so the host of the amateur show would quote unquote be the best amateur, and we would get to do our time at the end and then bring DL up.
Oh, I see.
He would give you 10
up front.
10 after the amateur, it was just like an open mic. Everybody would sign up.
Yeah.
And
then miss those days.
And then I would host. I'd just bring comic up one after the other, after the other, after the other, and then after the last amateur comic, then I would get to do 10 minutes. And then I would bring DL Hughley on. And I did that for a while, and it was dope. And then DL would come on, and you just feel the energy in the room change. And it gave you something to aspire to. Yeah. So when Michael thought I was ready, he was like, Ruben, you ready for the main show? I'm like, hell yeah, I'm ready for the main show at the Comedy Act Theater. So whoever the other amateur comedian was who did the 10 minutes before they brought DL on, what I didn't realize is now I have to go on after DL opens up the show. So DL would just obliterate the room.
Yeah, and how much time was he doing?
Whatever
20,
he felt like.
30 or
40 sometimes. Oh, DL would go. DL would go until he was ready. And then he'd be like, oh, and then he'd reach into his pocket. Then he'd look at the name. Then he'd put it back and then do another 10.
Of course.
So, and DL would be murdering. And I remember my first debut. Yeah. I remember I went in and man, I didn't bomb, but it was nothing like the amateur show. Like it was nothing like it. Like I felt like a star amongst the other amateurs. And that was my first oh wow, I have to get better because now they've seen a real pro, and now that it goes from a real pro seasoned monster to a new guy. Yeah. And Michael knew what he was doing, man. He put me in a lot of situations that forced me to grow. And I remember after that first time that I did that, Mike was like, it ain't that easy, huh? I'm like, nah, it ain't that easy. And he was like, you'll get there. You'll get there. And
'Cause he saw something.
he saw something.
Yeah.
And then talking about a horrible gig, I don't know if I even brought this up, is one of the worst gigs I ever did is when he sent me to Atlanta to work the Comedy Act Theater in Atlanta.
I didn't even know they had. I didn't even know they had one there.
Oh, yeah, that's
Is that
where-
one first or the LA one was first? Do you
The
even-
LA, I believe, because it was before my time, but I
Yeah.
believe the LA one was first, and then he opened in
get it.
Atlanta.
Okay.
Because he was that successful. Because you got to understand, Robin Harris, the great Robin Harris, was his host. So
Right.
he was doing big business in LA, like all the celebs and everybody. So they opened one in Atlanta. When I had started it already existed. And then Mike was like, I'm going to send you to Atlanta. And I had been doing comedy at that time 3 months or something like that. So it was my first road gig. I was like, really? He's like, yeah.
Wow.
So he sends me to Atlanta and puts me in the worst condo ever. Like, you know how I am about hotel rooms and stuff like that. Hey, man.
You guys know I've said it over. Bougie Ruben, man. Bougie brother.
Whatever, man. There's just certain things.
He's got to have a what is that called? The linen count on the sheets.
Thread count?
Thread count.
No, I'm not that
He's
bad.
got thread count.
No, I'm not that bad.
Is this goose?
But Johnny, when
pillows?
you've like dealt that shit, when like you're excited. You're like, I'm a comic. I'm a real comic. I'm going to perform in Atlanta. Long story short, I get to Atlanta. This condo is horrible.
I got to remember something earlier.
This condo is horrible. And Roach in the condo, like it was like, put it this way, my first stop was to the store to get some Raid. That was like my first stop. So I get to the club, man, and dude, let me tell you, man, these comics couldn't have been worse to me. And he sent me there as a feature, and man, just from how the comics introduced me, like they weren't kind at all.
Yeah, and I'm glad you bring this up. I'm not
No,
cutting you
no,
off.
no,
but,
go ahead.
But I just want. I try to explain this to some of the comics that I meet now. I go, man, this has happened at Sir Crazy. Mary Upchurch, she was great.
Yeah.
She worked with you too. She was just like, oh my God, you're being so nice. And I'm like, because the headliners back in the day, dude, I mean, sometimes didn't even talk. And the features and the opener and the MC weren't even allowed in the green room sometimes.
Yep.
So anyway,
Yeah, it's just, and it was a different time. And here's another thing that a lot of comics
and
don't
how are they
realize.
bringing you up? By the way, just
Oh,
any
dude.
examples of? Is it just like he from LA
No,
or something?
yo, so and this host was a fucking asshole, and he goes, he's as the host, he's a headliner, he's hosting.
He's headlining. I mean, he's a headliner.
He's
but
a headliner
hosting.
that's
Yeah.
hosting,
Yep,
which
I know.
which I
We know.
appreciate about Black Rooms, because having the host be really strong.
Sure.
He's murdering. And when he wasn't nice to me in the beginning, when he didn't say hello, I just thought, oh, he was busy. And then, I'm shy too at the
You
point
were
because I'm
just
new.
starting-
I'm
yeah,
new, dude.
Man, this is
So he goes up and he's murdering the room. And then I think he put up the first comic. I don't know if it was a guest set or they worked the room. Some of it is a blur. But I remember him going, and I'm going to say it verbatim just how he said it. This next nigga's from L.A. Ruben Paul. And, dude, they play the music. I go up there. I'm like, what's up? Silence. I said, what's up? At that moment, I wanted to
you
say,
were so green.
I was so great. I was like, what's up? I'm used to LA. You know what I mean?
LA, man.
And they're quiet and I'm going into my act. And when you're not getting laughs, as you just talked about your other story, I probably only had 20 minutes of material. I don't
Sure.
even know why Michael sent me.
Yeah,
and,
it's kind
and
of-
the 20 wasn't even tight. Dude, I was new.
Yeah,
I was
man.
new.
That's like
And I bombed almost every night. And I remember, wow, this shows you how far back it was. I take that back. I was 6 months in.
okay.
I was 6 months, which might as well have been, it's still not
It's
even
not
a year.
even.
And I remember I was friends with Jamie Foxx at the time, and I remember him being in Atlanta. And, he's like, at that time, he was like, yo, how's the shows going? I was like, man, this is awful. He's like, who's hosting? And I told him, he's like, man, he's an asshole. Like everybody knew this guy was an asshole except me. And obviously Michael probably had to know, but it was brutal, man. The whole week, and I worked with a comic named Kenny Howe out of Chicago. He was cool to me. I think he figured out, because I think they try to make it seem like I was the new guy coming from LA, like I was this beast or something like that. I was like, nah, dude, I'm brand new. I didn't even to this, and I ran into Michael in Vegas. He came to a show of mine. I go, why did you even send me, man? Because you needed to grow, man. You're here in LA. He was like, you're doing well on this amateur show and everything.
Not in 6 months.
He knew what he was doing, dude. Like he literally.
Well, I mean, you got a good story, but I mean, it
was horrible, man.
Yeah,
it was horrible. Like, and here's the thing, Johnny. You just did one show.
That's true.
I was there Wednesday through Sunday.
7 shows?
7 shows, bombing every show.
And did these guys say any snide remarks at all? The host
dude.
Or the
I mean, they were just they barely talked to me.
They didn't talk to you.
After a while, Kenny Howe, I think, kind of, they didn't know how long I had been doing comedy. And then in some conversation I had with Kenny, he was like, "Oh, you just started?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, dude." And he was like, "Oh, man, I didn't know that."
Right.
You know, maybe he was like,
they thought you had a few years.
yeah,
and you were
man. They just thought I was whacked. But it was like I wasn't ready for it.
Man, so
And
were
it
you
was
doing
so-
how much you were doing full 20?
I think I had to do like 25.
Yeah, because back then features the 30 was normal.
Yeah,
25, 30 was
I think I had to
pretty
do
normal.
25. And so I'm trying to.
And you didn't get hacked. Like nobody's like, next.
silence, dude. One thing about me, one
that's
thing I've
almost
been
worse.
One thing, oh, it is worse. I'd rather get booed or yelled out than because at least it's giving you something to give. Yeah. What I remember, I remember I was bombing one time, and this is how you know. This is when I knew I was likable because the comic told me that. When I was bombing so bad, and the lady goes, "That's okay, baby."
Oh.
And everyone started, but she didn't mean it. She was really rooting for me. She's like, "That's okay." Oh, bless his heart.
Oh.
You're eating it the whole time. And I will say this though, it pissed me off, and I remember telling myself, I'm never going to be in that position again.
Yeah.
Like
right.
I'm going to work my ass off, and I'm going to figure it out. And I will say this, none of the shows were good, but I did get better every show. When I look back at it,
Oh yeah, sure.
I got
You
more
were a
and
little
more
bit-
laughs
yeah.
as the week on, and he was even more vicious on the weekends, on the weekend shows, because it was packed and they're doing more time, and it's just at the end of the show when you're walking out and everybody's just walking by
right
you,
past you, man.
not even making eye contact with you. You're standing with the
I'm
headliner.
surprised you were standing. Why were you there?
I didn't know what to do, dude. I'm like I'm in Atlanta that's the first time I'd ever been to Atlanta.
I would have stayed in the green room.
I didn't green room. I don't think there was a green room.
Then I would have been back in the kitchen.
Dude, it was just
Not standing out there, right?
Yeah.
Chris. I mean, I'm surprised you. Let me ask you something. What are the odd places that you've performed? Like, you get to somewhere and you kind of go, "We're doing it from this spot."
well, the gig that I did last week was like that in that bar
Okay,
where they had
but
the stage set up.
I mean, like
just odd
like,
place.
Because
Odd setup.
I did 2 shows inside of a boxing ring.
Oh, really?
One was inside the gym. The other one was it was a car show. We were in the grandstand where everybody was. It was outdoors. We were inside the boxing ring because they were having boxing matches. And then on a baseball field.
I did that. I've done a
out
softball
on the
field.
diamond. They put a little makeshift.
I did that.
And we were looking at people in the bleachers.
Yes, I did
and
that.
Then,
Did we do that show together?
was this Ernie G?
No.
Oh, okay. That
No,
was
this was a fundraiser for some baseball league.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've done it on a baseball
I've done it
field.
on a baseball
I will
field.
say this was one of the funniest lines. I was doing the show. Shayla Rivera was whisper out to Shayla Rivera.
Shayla
She was
Rivera.
on the
Hey,
show, and the sprinklers came on for the baseball field.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Oh, look, this is the Mexican Bellagio."
That's funny.
Really funny. But the other one was, again, another Ernie G Productions.
Yeah.
In Globe, Arizona. We show up to this casino. I was like, okay, all right, Ernie.
Yeah.
And Globe, in the middle of nowhere in Arizona.
Yeah.
I'm like, where's the stage, the room, that we're going to be performing, and I couldn't
Yeah.
wait to see it because it was a nice casino. And the guy goes, "No, you guys are going to be out there in the where they do the bull riding." So there was a bull riding grandstand, and the bleachers, the grandstand, and then on the dirt they just put a stage right there. So we were on the bottom where they do bull riding and horse. So I had to do a show there as well.
I've done a show.
Just so people get an idea that we
Yeah.
are putting these weird.
I've done a show in a parking garage.
I have too. Wait,
Yeah, the
used
corporate.
car the used
No, remember that corporate
with Gilbert.
Yeah,
For Gilbert. Okay, you're right.
the parking garage.
Parking
Oh
lot.
yeah, you bombed on that show.
Yeah, I bombed on that one. But here's why.
Because then the Mexican DJ mess with you.
The Mexican DJ didn't like that I was doing material about Mexicans.
Because you're Portuguese. Oh, you didn't even know you're
no,
Portuguese.
dude.
Yeah.
And so he kept cutting my mic on and off.
I've done that gig a couple times. I actually, that wasn't an easy gig.
It's easier when you're in a weird way. You know how this goes.
Yeah.
If you're non-Hispanic,
Yeah.
it almost works in your favor because they're judging me. So he didn't like me because every time I started doing stuff about Mexican material, he would cut my mic off.
Oh wow.
Cutting my mic off, dude. So I had a rough set in that garage.
So I did that. I performed in an arcade once. That was awful.
Oh, that's got to be noisy. Oh,
Yeah,
how about a
while people
cafeteria,
were-
a college campus
Oh,
cafeteria, right? How about
too many of those.
with the television on?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Cafeteria.
Oh,
and do this. And let me tell you something.
oh, for me the garage, but not to remember the 10-minute oil and lube.
Well, I didn't do an oil and lube, but I did another like garage,
Another garage.
for mechanics or something. This was a totally separate gig. Man, I've done shows and I can't think. I've done shows in the backyard
Oh,
next
my
to a
God.
barbecue pit.
Yeah, I did a backyard. That's right. I've done some backyard. Did some private events. Backyard.
I've performed in the living
Me
room.
too. I did a living room.
Yeah. I remember
One show they wanted me to. They were outside in the backyard. They had and there was a pool, and the mic only I don't know why, but they only had it inside the house.
Uh-huh.
And there was a Christmas tree in the window. So I had to start off. I was performing next to the Christmas tree in the window as they're all outside. Because they had speakers outside.
Oh my God.
And I remember going, can't we just bring the mic? So I started in the window.
Yeah.
In the big window, and they were all just looking at me. And then I just went, I can't do this. And I just walked out and I left the mic and then performed on the pavement in front of them to finish so I could get paid.
One of the weirdest gigs that I've ever done is I was at this fundraiser at somebody's house. And just there to support. There are no performances or anything. So I'm sitting, I'm eating, and it was a buffet style. Like you get up and get your plate. We're talking, and then somebody goes, "Listen up, everybody! Clink, 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 clink. Can I have everybody's attention? Everybody's attention." And then the friend else was like, "Oh, I think they're gonna do an auction or something." And they're like, "Clink, clink, clink, yeah, everybody, can you hold it down? Hold it down." Like, first of all, everyone, thank you for coming. We really appreciate everyone's support. It's for a worthy cause. It's come to my attention that we have a comedian here.
Oh, this wasn't pre-set up?
No. And I go, "Oh, is there a comedian here?" Like I'm just thinking they have
They hired somebody.
and they go, "His name is Ruben Paul. Hey, Ruben." I go, "Hey, everybody. Hey." It's like, "Come up here and do something for us."
Oh.
Yo, really? Come do something? No.
Yeah.
We didn't even discuss it.
Right.
What does everybody start doing?
Ruben.
Come on, guys. Come on,
do it.
come on, come on, guys. Come on, everybody. Come on. No microphone, no nothing. I get up. It's like a living room, and like it was a big, huge kitchen. And everyone they had like tables set up because it was, and they talked me into it. So I get up, stand in the middle of the kitchen I had a suit on. I wasn't even, I don't wear suits when I perform.
Right.
Killed. Absolutely killed.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It was just one of those weird, horrible, the worst situation ever. But I think maybe everybody sensed that it was kind of an awkward thing. And since they begged me to go up there, dude, they were the most responsive, great audience ever, dude.
Wow. You know,
I'm talking about dodging a bullet, going from one emotion to the other.
The fact that you got, I would have just been like, I can't.
I know, I know, dude. That's one thing you would do it. You'd say no. I would
have said no. I remember I was working at the Comedy Store. Scott Day, who was booking at the calls, he goes, Johnny, you want to make some few extra bones? When you're starting out, man. And I hadn't been at the store that long. Anyway, he's like, man, it's a private event. One of the guys saw you in the original room or something. They want to hire you, dude. It's it's a few $100, whatever. I'm like, yeah. It's down there in West Hollywood. It's an apartment. I'm looking around and then I see these two hot girls come walking up, and then with the guy, and then he goes, hey, are you here for the something bachelor party? And I was like, oh, yeah, it's a bachelor party. That's right. And he goes, oh yeah, okay, because these are the dancers here, and then let me go find the guy. So then the dude, we go inside, kind of poke our head in a small apartment, and there's about 12 dudes. They're all watching porn. Okay. And so the guy's like, oh, hey, man, yeah, hold on, guys. All right, hey, guys, we're going to just finish up watching this porn. And then we'll have the girls come in next.
We're going to finish up.
We're going to finish up watching the movie.
What, after everybody busts?
Dude, right? So he goes, we're going to finish up watching this.
That's so weird.
We'll have the two girls come in and do the strip tease. And then, Johnny, you'll be on after. I go, what? I'm the end.
No wonder you leave gigs now.
Right?
No wonder you're like, I've paid my dues,
dude,
man.
Totally. So,
wow.
But I, starting out, wanted that extra cash. So we both went outside. I'm pacing around. The girls are waiting there. And then the guy's like, all right, we're ready. So the two girls go in there. I go put my head to the door. I can hear the woo, ow, take it off. All this. So then they finally come out after like 30 minutes, whatever.
There's somebody with a little trash can collecting the tissues from everybody.
So then the guy's like, dude, we're ready for you. And I was like, oh, okay, what, where? It was just a little apartment. The only spot for me that would work was a door, like a doorway from the kitchen into the living room. I was next to the refrigerator, and I did no mic, just me. And you remember how physical I was back then.
Yeah.
So I do a full 15-minute set that I would have done in the original or main room at the Comedy Store, and killed.
See, sometimes you just never know.
Weirdest thing, dude.
Yeah.
I could not believe these guys were that. After porn, after two strippers, they were totally fine. And that's when I used to do the cops on bicycles, how physical that bit was. And the rollerblading guy. I mean, all of it, dude.
I think a lot of times, like we look at a situation like that. I'm thinking about the fundraiser at the house that I went to and something like that. You knew you were coming to a gig, but the fact that they wanted you and it's in an intimate setting like that, I just, I learned from that gig that people want you to do well. And that's what I felt a lot. And man, just the anxiety of them calling me. I should have said no.
But look what happened.
It ended up being great, and I've gotten hired from different people for different things.
Yeah.
And that's why as comics, you always got to stay ready. Like you never know when your opportunity is going to be there because you never know who might be there. So, just hypothetically, if you're at all right, here's a question for you. Mm-hmm. If you're at a big Hollywood party, like you're at a mansion in the Hollywood Hills, and all these celebrities are there, and they say, hey, Steven Spielberg wants you to do 10 minutes. You're going to do it.
Yeah, that I would do.
You know what I mean?
I would do it.
You'd suck it up and go, hey, man, because your mentality would be like, since he's asking, and probably out of respect, since it's, what I'd say my introduction would be, I go, hey, tell them Steven wanted me to do 10 minutes.
Yes.
That would have to be.
That's part of it.
Yes.
Or the other thing I might do, the guy who's asking me, whoever's asking, I'll be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to send you a link to one of my videos. Just
play the video.
play the video for. But dude, I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. I've been telling everyone, I was like, we got to talk about some of these. It's not that they're all bad, by the way.
No.
Just
Some of the
strangest,
gigs.
oddest, and we could have a part 2 to this, a part 3.
Oh, easy, because I haven't even gotten to
we
some
have-
of the. I mean, I did a show at Patriotic Hall downtown L.A. A buddy of mine called me. He was like, "Yo, it's a talent contest." And I was like, "Okay." He was like, "You're going to be the special guest." And even that at that time, I was like, I haven't even been doing comedy that long. I was a professional at that
You
point.
were getting
But how
stuff
am I the
early.
special? Like, so much stuff happened to me early, dude. And a lot of, I was blessed early on, but I took a lot of lumps early on because I was fearless. You know, I would just,
Yeah. Well,
you know, and I needed to pay the
Dude,
bills.
It's so
you know?
weird. I feel the same way. The gigs that you do when you start out,
Yeah.
I know now I'd be like, oh, no way am I doing that.
Yeah.
No way. But
Yeah.
you're like, so that's why I wanted to say the only thing I do miss, I wrote down open mics, signing up. There's something you said, we walked in and we signed in. There was something really exciting about that. We didn't know the order. You know, sometimes they'd be like, I'll just call you as I call you. Or, you know, they make up the rules as nobody ever knew really where they were. And I kind of miss those days,
But
man.
something I never want to lose, and this is piggybacking on what you just said, is when you're starting out as a comic and you know you're just trying to get stage time.
That's it.
That feeling of when you know you have a set, like when Tuesday comes, you just think about it all day long.
So excited.
And even though it's not to that extent now, there still is an excitement, but it just happens, you know, closer to showtime. I'm not thinking about it the whole day unless there's something new I want to try. Shout out to Dwayne Perkins. Last night gave me a couple of great tags to a couple of new bits that I did.
Dwayne's great.
He's great.
Great
man.
guy too, by the way.
He's right, and we're gonna have him as a guest on the podcast. But we could talk about this.
We
more.
could do a part 2 and a part 3 and
Yeah,
I mean, we could,
there's
this
just-
would be
there's
great.
just so many.
Because now some things are coming in my head about these
dude.
other gigs. I'm like,
too
all right,
many over all the
Too
years,
many, man.
you know.
But I think people like to hear this stuff because everybody sees the end result.
Yeah.
You know, they see us
Dude,
on
I've
TV.
been
They
to-
see us on the Sunset Strip. Oh, by the way, another thing too, before I forget, and for other people out there, this is something. There's a documentary out there called The Sunset Strip. Great documentary. And when I watched that, and I've watched it 3 times now. I watch it because sometimes, you know, we take it. I feel like I forget when I'm performing on Sunset. You know, not take it for granted, but you know, it becomes that's what we do. And then you look at the history of the strip, dude.
Yeah.
You watch this documentary, you go, I've been a part of this history for
It's an
over
honor.
20 years.
Yeah.
I've always been on the strip. It was
Don't
either
take it
at
for
the
granted.
store
Yeah.
or it's at the Laugh Factory.
Yeah.
I was never an improv guy. I
Mm-hmm.
was never Melrose. It was never something that excited me.
Yeah.
But the Sunset Strip I was always like, I got to be on the strip, man.
I never thought about it like that, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm blessed enough. I mean, I work the improv a lot too. But yeah, to be on the Sunset
Well,
Strip,
that's because you're
a special-
bougie, though. That's bougie. Those are bougie comics
All
over there.
right, whatever, man.
Whisper out to the bougie comics.
Yeah, whatever.
With Ruben out of the
Some of
Improv.
us is just hungrier than the others.
Oh, really? I'll take
Yeah.
the Ice House. Okay.
Oh, I like the Ice House too.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Yeah,
the Ice
whisper out
House.
to the
man.
Ice House.
Hey, they're supposed to be having a going away party for Jan. Did they have that yet? Somebody told me they're about to do.
Oh, I didn't know he was leaving.
Yeah, Jan is leaving, and Didi,
Who's taking over?
Burdette, you know Didi, who used to be at the Improv. Oh, you never really worked the Improv.
see,
You don't
I
know
don't-
Didi?
No.
Yeah, but she took over the booking. You know Didi. What's Didi's last name? Burdette? Yeah, Burdette. Yeah, Didi Burdette. Yeah. Shout out Didi. I gotta hit her up. But yeah.
Okay.
But Jan is leaving. So yeah.
Wow.
Shout out to Jan. Jan was
Okay, well,
great. Jan was great.
I didn't really work with Jan either, though.
Oh, you didn't? Wait, you're so picky, man.
No,
You call me
no,
bougie.
no. I sent him avails, and I sent him my reel, and I didn't get any dates. He asked me for my would ask for avails.
Maybe your set is like at the end of Jack.
He's got the jack. Hey, let's go off on that, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to hear
No, let's not go
Ruben's-
off on that.
Ruben's,
No one wants to hear AC/DC, dude. All right, never mind. Hey, you guys, thank you for listening to the best of everything. I am Ruben Paul. You can find
Johnny
us
Sanchez.
on iTunes, Google Play.
Sorry.
Really?
Sorry.
iTunes, Google Play, YouTube.
Swap
Anywhere.
meet.
Yeah, tell a friend. Ruby Tuesdays every Tuesday night, 9:30, Hollywood Laugh Factory. And we out.
And this is Ruben's end of Ruben's set.
Really? I knew you were a prop comic. I knew it. Now you're going to do props and music cues? There you go.
Oh, I'm going to tell Amir K you said that.
Oh, really? Thank you for listening, guys.
Ruby motherfucking Tuesdays.
This show is all about diversity and bringing everyone together. You never know who you're going to see at Ruby Tuesdays.